Good Wednesday evening, listeners, and welcome to another edition of Conversations of A Sistah here on our YouTube channel exclusively. I decided to bring my platform to one area and one area only, and that is suspending my show on Blog Talk Radio for now. If I see a need for it in the future, I may go back to it. But for right now, I want to focus on one channel, one host, once a week, one show. So I welcome you all to tonight's commentary. I appreciate the emails from those of my blog readers saying, "Oh wow, you're now on YouTube." Yes, I am now on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Conversations of a Sister exclusively. So if you want to see the show live, you can meet me here at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays as I take to this platform to discuss the different issues that we will be discussing, as well as having guests come on in the future because we haven't gotten away from that. It's just that we're easing into this new season slowly. And we're kind of testing the waters with these different platforms that we are using. So, tonight's commentary is sorry. Sorry. Is that a word and a gesture of convenience, or are people really remorseful when they say it? And I guess what gave thought to tonight's conversation is the fact that Kim Porter, the police officer who shot and killed, fatally shot and killed Dante Wright, she expressed her sympathy, her sorry to his mom, to his family in a courtroom last Friday. And she did it with lots of dramatics, even shedding tears and being extremely remorseful, having killed Dante Wright by mistake, having mistaken her gun for her taser gun and fatally shooting the young man. So she went on to express her sorrow in doing so. She addressed Dante Wright's mother personally in the courtroom by stating that she's sorry that she caused her pain. And, it's funny because I had to think about it. And I did think about it because I thought about the mugshot that was taken of her when she was first arrested for killing Dante. And in her mugshot, she took the picture as if she was posing for a Sears portrait to hang on her wall because she was all smiles. She had on her orange jumpsuit, but she was all smile. But when she faced the courtroom and faced the family in court, we saw a whole different persona. So it made me think, it made me wonder. And, I know some of you have wondered the same thing too. Was her apology sincere? Was that a sincere apology? Now, do we have a right to question that? Of course we do. We have a right to question the sincerity of her apology. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of times, people say I'm sorry just to say I'm sorry. You know, people say I'm sorry, when it's convenient to say I'm sorry. Because when you say I'm sorry, that kind of trumps everything else afterwards. It trumps everything else that comes afterwards because you say, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. People express how sorry they are when they are extending condolences to someone. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. So I don't know if Kim Porter's apology was coupled into that, but she demonstrated extreme remorse. Now, I read a lot of my blog comments. I always read the comments. I always check the comments out before the show because I like to know what a lot of you are thinking and what you're saying on the subject because that's how I query how the conversation goes according to the blog post that I've written. And a lot of you thought that her apology was insincere, that, she was full of crap basically because she wanted a lighter sentence. Now, this may very well be the case. You know, she may have thrown herself on the mercy of the court by shedding tears, by showing extreme remorse, and winning the heart, she certainly did, of the judge because the judge was actually convinced that this was a fatal mistake that she made. And the judge came to that conclusion by, of course, reviewing the body cam of the incident. For those of you who may be just joining me, I'm coming to you live on the Conversations of a Sister YouTube channel. And we're talking about sorry, the word sorry, the gesture, I'm sorry. Is it used out of convenience or remorse? How can we tell if someone is remorseful, sincerely remorseful, or if it's just something of convenience? And we see it all the time. We see the word I'm sorry used in so many instances wherein we may not necessarily have to question someone's sincerity when it is said appropriately. Because there are times when it is appropriate to extend sorrow to someone, and that is in the death of a loved one. If something unfortunate happened and we hate to hear it and we don't want to hear it, we will tend to express our sorrow because in doing so, we have no hidden agenda. There is no hidden agenda behind expressing that sorrow. Someone I know very close to me, their son passed away 2 weeks ago. And, my brother went to the services to wake, and he kept pressing upon me if I was going to go. I don't like funerals. I don't like wakes. And, in COVID, I'm very careful about, being in crowds. Even when I go to restaurants, I make sure I'm sitting exclusively, alone or in an area that's not crowded, but it doesn't have a crowd. But nevertheless, I was sorry. And to express my sorrow and to extend my sorrow, I sent the person, the mother, a plant as well as another gift because I wanted to extend my sympathy. I wanted to be sincere in my presence and extending my sincere sympathy because I was and am very remorseful about the incident that took place. So I think that if we're going to talk about I'm sorry, and if we're going to talk about being sorry, I would say that the best form, the best way to show someone that you're sorry or to express your sorrow is behavior to support it. So, in the case of Kim Potter, the officer who fatally shot and killed Dante Wright, in showing her sorrowfulness in court and, expressing her sorrow to the point that even the judge extended her a lighter sentence. And a lot of you, my blog readers, thought that was the motive behind her plea. That was the main motive behind her remorsefulness, is that she wanted to receive a lighter sentence. And she did just that. And I think Another thing that played a role into that is the fact that the judge was a female. It was not a male judge, it was a female judge. And women tend to gravitate, or I'm going to say empathize with another woman. And they may do so not only as a woman, but as a mother and as another woman in that position. Because the judge said she reacted based upon her expertise and how she knew to react. And the fact that she grabbed her gun instead of her taser and the way she reacted afterwards showed her sincerity in the mistake that was made. And that's very true because I listened to it. I listened to the outcome of the case. I listened to what the judge said, and she is absolutely correct. But there is one thing wrong with her dissertation of the case and the outcome of that sentence is that Kim Potter may very well be sorry. And she expressed that sorrow to Dante Wright's mother. But the one thing that is wrong with that is that the mistake that she made cannot be undone. You cannot go back for a do over because Dante Wright is dead. And although she apologized to her, 1,000 apologies is not going to undo what's been done because the damage is already done. Dante Wright is initially deceased. So her sorry does not help his mother because what was done cannot be undone. You can't undo it. It is not like they are words that she can take back, or they are words that you can sugarcoat to explain why they were said based upon that sorry. That's something that can't be undone. And I get it. I get that Kim Potter is a mother. I get that she may have spoken to Dante's mother to mother, but she hasn't lost a child. She's not in Dante Wright's mother's shoes. She's not there. And she can only pray that she's not there one day in order to see what telling someone is sorry about when you can't bring back their child. Because she may be sorry, but the damage is done. Dante Wright is dead. No sorries can undo that. And when we talk about her sentencing, yes, she received a lighter sentence. And yes, Dante Wright's mother felt as though the justice system murdered him all over again because there was no justice in the case, because she will only serve 8 months or less. She won't even serve a full 2-year sentence because she's already been locked up and they're going to add that to her time. So she won't serve that full sentence. But even when you think about that, because I even thought about that, let's say she would have been given 30 years in prison. Would Dante Wright's parents have been satisfied? Would the lawyers have been satisfied? Because for me, at the end of the day, Dante Wright is not coming back. What Kim Potter did cannot be undone because she killed Dante Wright. There is no do-over after death. There is even no do-over if she served a substantial amount of time in prison. There is no do-over. There is no do-overs behind her. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, Dante Wright is not coming back. Dante Wright could not stand in that courtroom in defense of what happened that day because Dante Wright is dead. There's no coming back from that. So she could have said, I'm sorry, a million times. She could have been sentenced to 50 years in prison. It is not going to bring him back. But maybe a longer sentence would have given his parents some sort of satisfaction. Something. Maybe they would have felt something if she would have gotten a stiffer sentence. Maybe she would have. But when I look at the pictures of Dante Wright that are circling on the internet, him and his young baby son, it's heartbreaking because he was only 20 years old and his life was cut short. It's heartbreaking. And I think that no amount of time and no strategies behind I'm sorry can ever change that. For me, the only strategies to being sorry is changed behavior. And if I was Dante Wright's parents, I would be looking to challenge Kim Potter on her sorry, on that apology. I would be looking on ways or looking at ways to challenge her. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I hurt you. I'm so sorry that I caused you pain. She may have even caused her own family pain. I had a friend of mine on IG who said earlier on during the week, she said, I think that she looked at it from a perspective of being a mother and the fact that she probably caused her own family pain as well. But I think that the ultimate pain here is with Dante Wright's family because Dante Wright is dead. Kim Potter's family may have suffered. They may be suffering and they may be in pain. And that's only because of the spotlight that's been on this case. But I'm sure they're all still alive at the end of the day. Nobody has died or was murdered or killed based upon the fact that Kim Potter made a mistake in fatally killing Dante Wright. But Mr. and Mrs. Wright, or both his parents, they have to deal with the fact that Dante's never coming back. Dante, they won't get anything else out of Dante because Dante's gone. They do have a son that they can pour into based upon the fact that Dante is gone. But if I were his parents, I would challenge Kim Potter and her, I'm sorry. And I would actually put it in writing and I would send it to the judge. Because if the judge can empathize with her sorry based upon the fact that it was a mistake, then the judge should certainly be open to his parents challenging her sorry. I would issue to Kim Potter what I'm sorry looks like for them. What could Kim Potter do? What type of change behavior can be implemented to honor Dante Wright? How can this negative be turned into a positive in his memory? Okay, she's sorry. The focus was on the fact that she's sorry. How sorry is she? What can she do to actually prove that she's sorry? What can be done at this point to prove that she's sorry? How can her sorrow be put into action? How can she take those words and spring them into action? How can she take her sorry and catapult it into action in Dante's memory? Because that's what I would like to see. That for me would be a real I'm sorry, because this is what was done in Dante's memory. This is what was done in Dante's name. What can she do to put her sorry to action? And I think that with the sorrow and with the hurt and with the pain and with everything that has come with this case, that has not been the focus, because the focus is on the hurt. When the father was on the news the very next day, he said, I'm still waiting for my son to walk through the door. So that means that he cannot and has not accepted what has happened, although it's all of our realities. He's not there in accepting it. So healing needs to take place. You're sorry? You're really sorry? Healing should take place behind that sorry. Action needs to come behind I'm sorry. I think that when we think about our relationships in life and we think about how things happen and, people get hurt and, remorsefulness is exchanged and I'm sorry is exchanged, the best apology, and we see it all the time. We see it on social media being mentioned. We see it in these memes that are shared. The best apology, the best remorse behind apology is changed behavior. The best apology is changed action. Because when you are truly sorry about something, you're not going to do it again. That's just like a spouse cheating on his wife or a spouse cheating on her husband. And she constantly says, I'm sorry. He constantly says, I'm sorry. But he goes out and he does it again and again and again. That's not sorry. You're not sorry because you know exactly what it is that you're doing. I use that to say this. If Kim Potter is really sorry, she would put some action behind that sorrow. And if the parents really want to know how sorry she is, they should challenge that gesture. They should challenge that I'm sorry. You are sorry? Well, this is what we want to see done in my son's honor. You are sorry? So this is what we want to see changed within the police force. You're sorry? These are the things we need you to implement in honor of our son. Instead of focusing on the fact that her sentence might have been lighter or her sorry may have been insincere, let's take her to task to put her sorry into action. We have to stop focusing on what is and start changing it into what needs to be. Because we need to put action behind people's words. We need to hold people accountable when something is done. Because Dante Wright is dead. There's no coming back from that. So the resolve is, how can that sorry be put into action? What can be done to actually prove that sorrow is behind the sorry? And it makes me angry because I think that the devil has a field day with us focusing on the wrong things. I think that things needs to be redirected to where they ought to go. And I think that the family needs to respond to Kim Potter by saying, if you're really sorry, I want to see change behavior. I want to see your sorry done in honoring my son. What can you do to show that you're sorry? What can you do to reverse your actions going forward? What can be done? No, Dante's not coming back. But what can you do to put your sorry to action? I think I'm going to write her a letter and ask her that question, because I think the conversation needs to be had. And people need to say what they want to see in Kim Potter being sorry. It is time that we put action to words and accountability to what's being said, because we're not going to just take the sorry with a grain of salt. And I saw what a lot of my blog readers said. She's not sorry. She's insincere. Well, let's put that to test by starting a petition that she show us exactly what that sorry should look like. And we should ask the judge to tell us the same. We need to demand what our sorry should look like instead of just accepting it, because we don't have to just accept it. We can demand that action is put behind it. If you're sorry, prove it. Point blank, period. Don't just say it, be about it, and put your words to work. I thank you for tuning in. Make your sorries for real. And if you're remorseful, put action to it and not just words. Until next week, I'll see you then. And be true to your sorry.